Hey, good morning, friends, and welcome back to the channel. This video, we're just going to go over the few games from Thursday, September 23rd, where it's the teams in the playoff races. Pretty much that, just a couple games. Playoff race, we're going over every single morning, seeing what changes, who's getting eliminated. I put a big X through the Reds this morning, and so they're pretty much, their hopes, in my opinion, are done. So we'll talk about their last game, but after going forward, we're not going to talk about it. Starting things off today, we're going to start things off with the American League, as per usual. It's kind of how we've been starting things off. Before we go down there, subscribe to the channel. We do these videos every day, power rankings every day, playoffs coming up, NFL season, NHL season podcast, all that fun stuff. Make sure you're following along for that if this is stuff that interests you. The Jays missing a chance to keep in this race. While the other two guys are pretty much out of action in the race, the Jays take a big loss to the Twins. They did get out to an early lead in this one. I had some worry at the start of this that Matz would not be able to come out to play, and sure enough, he didn't get out of that third inning after the Twins just generated a couple runs to give themselves a 2-1 lead. We see Teoscar Hernandez hit a solo shot. His 30th of the season, so what's that, the fourth Blue Jay to cross 30 mark? That's pretty huge. They do tie it 4-4, but in that fifth inning, the Jays just fall apart. And it's their bullpen. Matz went 206 K, so they don't even send him out for the fourth. But then they try to send Hatch out there. Not quite sure what the thinking behind that was. But they did. Matz, I guess, went 80 pitches to get out of those 3 innings. Pretty rough on that side. Hatch, Merriweather, Borecki, all giving up some runs to the Twins. And Pineda, he goes 5, 2 earned runs and 2 Ks. It's a tough spot for the Jays. They really wanted to at least take 3 from the Twins, so now they're going to have to win the next 3. While the Yankees and Boston, they play each other this weekend, so at least one of them is going to be taking up losses, so every win should bring them a little bit closer, but the Jays got to find some wins, and that's the truth of the matter. No other action really from the American League other than the Seattle-Oakland series, and Seattle completes the 4-game sweep of the A's. I was debating this morning whether to put the X through the A's to pretty much call them over. But in theory, they do have 3 more games in Seattle next week, which are pretty impactful in the race if they come in and sweep. Basically, the A's got to win 9 in a row at this rate. They're 4 games back. They got to win 9 in a row after just an atrocious series, really, against the Mariners. They were out again, 3-0 in this one before the Mariners start piling it on. Riley hits his 5th. Haniger, 35th, and Torrance, his 15th. Torrance has just been such a big ad after all the controversy at the trade deadline. Such a big ad. For the A's, Murphy hits his 17th, Olsen his 38th. It's the middle innings that the A's just fall apart, and lately their bullpen has just not been there. Chris Bassett making his return to the team. He goes 48 pitches, 3 innings. And honestly, a big part of the A's fall apart was ever since Bassett took that liner to the head, and he hasn't been able to pitch for them because he was their Cy Young candidate. And the bullpen falls apart. Kapralainen and Dykman just both giving up 3 earned runs. And the Mariners getting back in the race. We're just going to do a quick look at the standings. Not much changed. It's all these 3 teams. The Jays lose, so they go from half a game out to now 1 game out, playing Minnesota. We got Seattle going into the Angels this weekend. Now 2 games out, and one of the hotter teams winning 5 in a row. So, if they can sneak in, that'll be quite the story this season. In Oakland, as I was just talking about, 4 games out. Playing Houston this weekend, pretty much 1 loss away from me calling it a season for them. And that's pretty much it for the American League. Wendy Chavez, welcome to the channel, man. I haven't seen you around here before. Nice to meet you. Hi to yourself. Switching over to the National League playoff race. Start things off there. Most of the teams were in action yesterday. Cardinals completing the sweep of the Brewers, which just, I must have cursed the Brewers, putting them number 1 in the power rankings. And yeah, Cardinals pretty much 12-game winning streak. Got up. It's this wild card game in the West. It's just gonna be, or in the National League, it's just gonna be crazy. Brewers were out 5-0 after 4. Taylor, multiple home runs off of Wainwright, which is kind of concerning because going into this, I thought Wainwright would be the wild card pitcher should the Cardinals make it. And now we're not sure. I'm not sure after an outing like this, but I'm sure they'll go back to him. Goldschmidt starts heating up. He hits 2 home runs in this game. He had a 3-hit, 3 RBI night. Both those home runs coming late after the Cardinals chipped away. 1 in the 5th, 4 more in the 7th to tie it. And then Goldschmidt comes to the bat in the 8th and 9th and hits those home runs. Wainwright gets 4 or 5 earned runs, giving up a couple of home runs. Hauser only gives up 1 earned run. So a lot of those runs were unearned in that first inning, off an error on that. So Cardinals pretty much clinch a wild card spot. I almost put the circle around them saying they're in the playoffs, but I'm going to give it a little more time because they technically have a couple guys chasing them with the Phillies and the Reds, but I pretty much call it. If they win another one tonight, I'll put that circle around them. Dodgers 7, Rockies 5. So after losing back-to-back to the Rockies, the Dodgers do pick up a big win, and it's a comeback. 3-3 after 1. The Rockies do take a couple-run lead in the 5th off the bat of Tapia, his 6th of the season, a 2-run shot. And Scherzer had a little bit of struggles here. 5 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, 6 Ks. Maybe this is a preview of what we're going to see between the Dodgers and Cardinals should they be the ones that play in the wild card. Both these guys struggled, so it's kind of interesting there. Freeland goes 6, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, but Max Muncy comes in the 10th and plays hero, a 2-run shot. The only home run coming from the Dodgers side after they generate a run in the 8th, a run in the 9th to send it to extras. And Dodgers, they're going to make up some ground on the San Francisco Giants, who lost to the Padres. Same thing, they went to extras, but this time it's the Padres that won. Giants were at 5-0 at one point, looking to just keep pace with the Dodgers, all that fun stuff. But the Padres had different plans. Or sorry, it wasn't 5-0. Again, it's that first inning is chopped off. So the Padres were actually out 5-0 in that first inning. And then the Giants chipped away back at it. Grisham, his 15th. Kim, his 6th of the season. Yastrzemski, his 24th. And Slater, his 11th for the Giants. Giants missing a chance here to really keep that 2-game lead. Now we're going to go into the last 3 series with only a 1-game lead. Going to be some concerns there. Next up, we're going to talk about the East, the playoff race. The Braves lose to the Diamondbacks, who are essentially just playing spoiler now, and they're doing a good job against the Braves, who I think that's back-to-back losses to the Diamondbacks, and with the Phillies right on their tail, and the Phillies having a pretty easy schedule this week with Baltimore and the Pirates. It's not a good look for the Braves. They're going to have to go from pretty much clinching that division to fighting the Phillies down the stretch. They do have a series against each other next week. Diamondbacks, Kelly hits a 3-run shot in that 7th inning, which is pretty much the biggest difference with Austin Riley hitting his 32nd in that 3rd. Bumgarner goes 5, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks. Morton 6, 3 earned runs, 8 Ks. Tough loss for the Braves because the Phillies, what a comeback. They're down 6-0 early in this game. 3 innings in, 6-0. You're starting to wonder, I think at the time the Braves were ahead a little bit. And you're starting to get ideas that this division might start to be wrapped up. But the Phillies had different ideas. They piled on 5 in the 3rd to bring in at least within 1 run early. Gregorius, a big part of that. Solo shot coming there. And then in the 6th, they add 3, 2, 2, and they just pile on for a nice 12-6 win. Torres also hitting his 7th home run, and Realmuto his 16th. Nola goes 6 earned runs, 8 Ks. A lot of concern here for me. Nola has been inconsistent, but a big part of why the Phillies aren't a lock already. Overton, 2.2, 4 earned runs for the Pirates, and we'll talk about that in a sec, how close that division race has become. What else do we got here? I think there's only one more game left to talk about in the National League, and saving it for last, as this pretty much is for me the Reds elimination game. They just couldn't get any offense going. Shot out for the entire game until the bottom of the 9th. Some desperation must have set in, but it was a little bit too little, too late, and Washington walks away with a 3-2 lead. Juan Soto carrying the load. single-handedly putting them out with 2 solo shots coming in the 6th and 7th, 29 on the season now. Corbin goes 6.2, no earned runs, a couple of walks, and they were at 7 strikeouts. And Castillo now 8 and 16 on the season. What a season this guy's had, up and down, up and down. 6 innings pitched, 200 on 6 Ks, and Cincinnati's going to get charged with the loss. Taking a look at the wild card here. Cincinnati now 5.5 games out. For me, I eliminated the Padres on less, and that was earlier in the week. So I think it's time, just how the Reds have been playing. Both these teams have just been 3-7 on the last 10. Both these teams were holding on to, they were the ones fighting for that wild card at one point. And then along came the Cardinals on a 12-game winning streak, and now the Phillies are on a 7-game winning streak, and they still have more Pirates, the Cubs, and the Cardinals have the Cubs this weekend. So I assume with a couple, each of those teams are at least going to win, whereas Cincinnati is struggling with Washington. If we take a look at the division races now, which are probably the more exciting ones in the National League, we have the Phillies, who have pulled within 2 games now of Atlanta. Of course, like I said, they play each other next week, which is going to be a big pivotal. Atlanta is playing San Diego. With San Diego pretty much eliminated, all but eliminated, they're going to be pushing everything they got here. So it's a good chance for Philly to at least pull within 1 game over this weekend, I would suspect. Looking down at the west side, San Francisco loses. They're 6-4 their last 10. Still a good number, 647, but they're only 1 game up on the Dodgers. I've been saying it all season long that I suspected the Dodgers are going to take it, but deep down inside, I've been kind of hoping that doesn't happen for San Francisco's sake. They've had such an amazing season, but it still kind of looks like that's the case. Both these teams having easier weeks. They're kind of switching it up. San Francisco is going to be playing in Colorado, which is always a dicey situation, and the Dodgers have Arizona, so easier side division matchups. We'll see how it works for those guys, but there you have it. National League was all in action yesterday, whereas the American League was pretty much off, and the playoff race is heating up, and we're going to see it. Yankees Boston this weekend, a big part of the playoff race. We have Padres and Braves playing, which is going to be a pretty important series as well. So make sure you guys stick around. We go over a quick recap of the playoff race each and every morning, and we will see you guys out there for that next video.